Hi, I'm Roberto Martinez and you're watching Toffee TV.
So, every week we ask the question, hashtag ToffeeTweets on Twitter at ToffeeTV1. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter, make sure you're following us. We ask a question every week, and this week's question, it's a mixed one this, because, you know, I was interested to see what kind of reaction we'd get. There's been a little bit of talk about this gentleman in the news recently, and, you know, things that haven't gone so well for him in the last few months, and it is about...
Nick Clegg?
I don't know what club you're talking about. It is about Sylvian Distin. It is regarding basically obviously our final game on Sunday against Spurs, and Distin obviously out of contract. He will leave the club, and so basically the question was, does he deserve any kind of send-off, you know, from the club? Does he deserve 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour to even start the game?
Whoa there.
Whoa, steady on there, sailor. So, I mean, you know, he's been at the club since 2009. You know, he was bought with the Lescott money, was the Lescott replacement. For that first season, he was a little bit dodgy, he was a little bit all over the place, he always had that mistake in him. But he settled down, and for the most part, got a good partnership with Phil Jagielka, and pretty steady. He was always the pace in that back forward as well. Well, you know, even if he made a mistake a lot of the times, he got himself out of trouble just with his sheer pace. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think he does it? Number one, I'll rephrase. Does he deserve it, or is it just shouldn't even be thought about, regardless of whether he deserves it?
It's a tough one, because I like Distin. I think he's done very well. I think it's the right time for him to leave. I don't think there's any question about that. I don't think he'd dispute that. But I think he's been very good for Everton. He's been very, very good. I thought he was outstanding last season, to be fair, to take on a new way of playing at whatever age he was, 35 or whatever, and do really, really well. He played in a team that got the most points it's ever got in the Premier League. Done fantastic. This season didn't go so well for him. In terms of giving him a send-off, I don't know. I mean, last 2 minutes, put him on, let him get a clap. I mean, is that a bit disrespectful to him to say, go on for 2 minutes?
Do you think Roberto Martinez should have just let him go in end of January?
Yeah, I think I know we tried to get him as part of the Winston Reid. You know, we tried to get Winston Reid for Distin and a packet of crisps or something else that we threw in. But yeah, if he wasn't going to use him, again, he's trying to protect Everton by making sure he's there. But he's never even been on the bench. You know, since, and Alcaraz, you know, for whatever reason, has been on the bench. So to keep him and then not use him is a little bit mad. And we know that Distin's come out and said, he told me I was part of his plans, or he said in a press conference I was part of his plans, and then not to use me.
Well, basically what he's done is he hasn't let him go because he wanted to cover his own back, really, isn't it? You know, he wanted those 4 centre-backs, and so that's why he's kept them.
That's what he's entitled to do.
But the chance hasn't arisen to use him, so why should he use him? And people will go, well, he's better than Alcaraz, but, you know, Alcaraz was his player, and I think this season what we've seen is Distin just go, and we say it all the time. We've seen it so many players, they just go, and I think with him maybe losing a little bit of pace or just that little bit of whatever, he wasn't comfortable early on playing the possession game at the back, where he might have been a little bit more comfortable last season. He hasn't been comfortable this season. Coincided with the fact that we were playing absolutely rubbish as well. So those things collided, and I don't know.
And he let it be known.
Yeah, maybe
that's the problem.
Maybe he said his piece, but I go back to the Eto'o thing and think, well, you know, we let Eto'o go, and maybe he should just let Distin go as well, regardless of the situation. Maybe, you know, he has got kids there, emergency, Barry in emergency.
Ty Browning,
you know,
has played a couple of times and can play centre-half, so yeah, I mean, with hindsight, he probably should have let him go, yeah.
Well, don't forget, we asked you on Twitter, as we said, hashtag ToffeeTweets. Some of your reactions. Jay Wilson says, no, I've got respect for him. He's been a fantastic servant for us, but I want us to win every game possible. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? Ryan Cochran says, for his service and commitment, yes, but he's had a truly shocking year. Robbie Kirkham has said, yes, he's been a good player, just stayed a season too many, still better than Alcaraz. DJ Weave Esquire says, Roberto Martinez has handled this poorly and Distin has been a good servant, but I'm still against giving him a game. No room for sentiment. Lee Brooks has said, not the biggest fan either, but if something has gone on until we know the full story, the manager is bigger than the player. Which again, though, you just think, well, why didn't you get rid of him?
Who knows?
Everton Canada says, no room for sentiments in the modern game. Miss Blue Nose 87 says, I don't get the milk jokes. Now, that's for another day. Sean Cartwright says...
Look on the internet.
Sean Cartwright says, can't finish any higher, so give him a place. An hour run out, then bring a young lad on. Do you agree with that, or do you just play a young lad in the first place? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? Why would you start? Why look back when there are kids that need...
I think if you were gonna kind of use that way round, Distin and a young player, I think you're right, you'd start with the young lad, because obviously he's the future, and then give Distin, I don't know, 10 minutes on the end or something.
Jeff Ormstead says, he's been a bad lad, but thank you, Sylvan, for the and all the best in the future. I don't know what he's talking about. Paulie POW said, yes, the People's Club, the players are people too. Don't think we are the People's Club anymore. I think someone else has robbed that hashtag, so I think that's gone. Brooksy has said, no, never thought he was as good as people thought, and if Martinez doesn't want him around, we should support that decision. Casey Dorgan has said, definitely it's been disgraceful way that he's been treated. Fantastic signing, fantastic servant, treated like a word beginning with S in the final year. Any thoughts on that?
Again, you know, he said publicly that he's going to come out. He might come on Toffee TV and give his side of the story.
Don't say like that, we've asked him, we haven't.
We will ask him, but we haven't got any money, so we probably won't. Got loads of milk if David let us. I don't know.
Richie Parker said, yes, he does. He does. He has been a good player for us and deserves a good send-off. I'm trying to get to ones that just don't say yes or no on them. G Thorn 84 said, without doubt he's been a fantastic professional and servant for the club. I think he has been a fantastic professional. Yeah. That's one thing you can say about Distin, and a good professional. A little bit mad at times with his Twitter rants and also trying to front people in the Gladys Street, but has always basically fought his corner, which is an interesting thing. An interesting thing for players nowadays. They don't necessarily do that.
I think he's a man with strong principles, a man with strong opinions, and if you call him out, on Twitter, then be man enough to front him up if he comes looking for you. Don't call him out and run.
We've seen that recently as well. Chris Donahue has said, yes, great servant, professional, filled the hole, Lescott left, and a Bosch milkman. Bauer 316 has said, in many ways, I hope we find out. Never was the Everton way to do the dirty stuff in public, unlike a few others. As I say, there's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes. We don't know what's gone on, so we can't really speculate. JTS Gaming has said, I think Martinez has done well because something went on behind the scenes, and I don't think Martinez would just drop a player. Again, we don't know what's going on. This is the thing. It could just be purely football in terms. I mean, I think he should have been dropped after the first game.
Where was this milk round?
I'm not sure.
It wasn't up by Wigan, maybe, was it?
Maybe it's off.
Maybe he was delivered on like...
Just stop.
Full fat milk
just
instead
stop.
of semi-skimmed
or
whatever.
No.
That's just for the girl who didn't know what the score was.
No, I'm going to edit that out before the lawyers get in touch. Manny_EFC says, nope, why would he? He's just a centre-back who is way past it. Colin McNamee says, deserves a walk around Goodison, but his performance this season meant he shouldn't get a run out. Again, even if he doesn't play, will he even be there to just sort of get any kind of sort of farewell? Because I think he does deserve that at least.
Oh, without a shadow, he deserves it. Yeah, I think he'll be there. Final game, it's his final thing. It's a chance to say goodbye, isn't it, I suppose? So I'd expect him to be on the pitch at the... You're looking at it? On the end. That wasn't on our tweets.
Milk rounds?
Vacancies.
There was one round by ours, but it's gone now. I'm just looking for more tweets.
Really?
EFC Coiney said, of course he does. It's been a little bit strange. Potential to cause unrest in the squad. I'd love to know what's being said. Again, we don't know. Lee Ledbetter said, well, I wouldn't play him personally. We want to cement 10th. We want to cement 10th. Please get a grip of yourself. Yeah, he should be there for the lap of honour, though. George Farah said, people shouldn't forget the 5 very good seasons he's had before this one.
That's right. I would say that's right.
Matt, Dinosaur Blue, said, yes, we'd be better than to let the player leave unheralded. Yeah, and again, that's what we're saying, but I don't think he definitely needs to come on the pitch for that. I think that the whole thing would be a little bit strange if Martinez hasn't played them. For the
to be honest with you, I don't think he'll even be part of the squad at the weekend. I think he'd be there in the owl whistle, walking around the pitch at the end, but I don't
Maybe
think...
they were like, he loves wearing like knee-high socks all the time, just generally, not even on a footy pitch.
Just like on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Shorts and them socks on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to tell him what he looks like.
He looks
fantastic.
Bracewell's Boot says, of course he does. Distin has been a rock for us and had a great career. Reason I'll stay behind on Sunday. It's a controversial one. The only reason? Fair enough. Scott McAllister said, he has been more important player to us than Tony Hibbert ever was. That's for sure. Maybe not. That's for a question for another day, I think. K Conver said, no, Distin's poor in his first season and finished in his last. We replaced Escott with a quarter of the price for a quarter of the player. Yeah, I think Distin. I think
goals wise,
I think Lescott was a better player, but I don't think. Yeah, the goals were never replaced. That's one thing. Mark Palfruman, I said yes. Whatever's gone on doesn't distract from Distin being immense for us.
He was very, very good. He can't rewrite history. He's been really good. Obviously, the Suarez mistake and things like that didn't help him. But, you know, he was a very, very good defender for us.
Mike Murphy said there should be a Phoenix from the Flames reenactment of the semi. Only this time he empties out. Yeah, that's semi. We all know what that's semi. Roberto Martinez can be Suarez. Robbie Kirkham says Guard of Honour.
Guard of Honour. We loved them in this part of the world.
And Owen Quirk says, I would rather give one of the youth a chance, i.e. Browning alongside Stones, as that could be a future partnership.
And Galloway and Stones.
I just think it'll be Jags and Stones.
It'll be Jags and Stones and it'll be Bainesville. Jags, Stones. That'll be it.
Yeah.
There'll be no changes. Unless Zorro gets a game.
I think personally that Roberto Martinez will play a pretty similar team to they played at West Ham. He has basically said there wasn't any sort of room for any kind of, not sentiment, but even playing young players. He said that pretty much all the way through. So I think it's going to be what it is. It's going to be the best team possible. It'll just be interesting to see who plays at left back, I suppose, in this game.
Who knows?
That's for
Who
another
knows?
day.
They'll just bring someone else in from nowhere. Hibbert. Tony Ibbo back at left back.
Tony Ibbo, Pienaar, Distin.
Pienaar, remember him?
And Distin playing.
Distin will play.
Alec Cleland.
Klaus
Thompson. Mark Hottiger at right back.
Farrelly. Mitch Ward. They're all coming back.
The Strack. And Mick Madar up front.
I was going to say
Come on!
And John Spencer on the bench.
He's too busy doing the MLS commentary.
I know, but only from
Very well as well.
He's good. He's quite good. He's quite good at
there
that.
You go.
He couldn't score.
We've gone off on a complete tangent. Thanks for your tweets. ToffeeTV1, #ToffeeTweets. I don't think Distin's going to have any part, apart from maybe while everyone's playing, he'll be scratching everyone's cars. But we'll leave that there.